Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of D's Media World. Today we're doing episode 20 of my Inuyasha review series, Despicable Villain, The Mystery of Onigumo. So this is actually just continuing where the last episode sort of left off, actually, when Inuyasha pushed Kagome down the well. Now we're dealing with, the first thing we see is Inuyasha shoving a tree right down the middle of the well so Kagome can't come back. Even though he took her drill shard, he's like being extra sure about her not coming back. I wrote down here on my notes that the scar in Inuyasha's face, I totally did not mention it in the last episode. I completely forgot to say it. I might have to rewatch that episode to see when he scarred that, like, I guess purple marking appear on his face. I kind of assume it means that his life was in danger or he was fighting, because if it was red you would think, oh, it was blood, but it's like this purple, almost like war paint kind of thing. So that's kind of interesting. Shippo decides to stay while they go find out more information about Naraku. So the whole purpose of this episode really is for Kaede to tell them about Onigumo and how he was like this evil human guy who was sleeping at this bar in the cave that Kikyo took care of when she was alive and stuff like that. We flash back to Kagome every once in a while, and she wonders why Inuyasha hasn't come to get her, and she's wondering, if that hug that Inuyasha gave her meant something and all that kind of stuff. I kind of figure that Kagome misconstrued what happened, because from outside looking, he pushed her down the well. I mean, we know that Inuyasha did it really to protect Kagome, but I'm kind of surprised Kagome isn't like worried that she's worried he won't come back. But I guess she doesn't get that he did that. Yeah, because he didn't really translate it that well. He just pushed her down the well after he hugged her. That's kind of confusing, I suppose. So this character named Royal-kan, which is kind of an interesting name for a character, attacks Inuyasha and Shippo and Roku and stuff, because Naraku kind of put a jewel shard in him, made him evil, stuff like that. There's a lot of good stuff that happens in this episode. I don't really have to tell you guys about it if you've seen it. I love the I think I said this already, but this is my favorite animation style. Like, it's so crisp, it's so well drawn, the whole episode, that it looks great. When they show the flashback of Kikyo and with Kikyo Inuyasha, and how he and her had talked about wanting to be together and stuff like that, and bringing the jewel shard and everything, it was very beautiful. Like, the reds were just popping. Like, the animation they do for those flashbacks, or just the colors they do, are so vibrant. Even though it was kind of a dark time, it was so vibrant and beautiful. Kaede talks about how maybe the purpose of Onigumo, or purpose of Naraku, was to make Kikyo's heart black, or tainted, I guess, with anger and hostility towards Inuyasha, which, that sounds about right. I mean, Kaede is pretty wise. The end of the episode is... What cracks me up about the end of this episode, Shippo... Inuyasha's fighting Royal-kan. He's still weak from his battle with Shishomaru. And, Shippo grabs basically a pretty large fragment of the jewel. Almost, like, not half, but like a third of the jewel, it seems. And he's running away and stuff. And then at the end, Inuyasha says, "How will we get ourselves out of this one?" Like, he doesn't say it like that. But it's said in such a almost comic book kind of way. It reminds me of a comic book. Like, oh, how will we figure this out? Like, I don't know, we'll have to come back. Like, they almost did everything except come back next week and find out in the next episode. Kagome, I don't think it's till the next episode, but yeah, she accepts a date with Hojo, and how I just find it hilarious that all she thinks about is Inuyasha, and she's worried about him and stuff. I don't even think she thinks about everyone else and how they're doing. She's just concerned with Inuyasha so much. Let's see, I think that's really it for the summary part of the episode. This episode's pretty good. A lot happens. This definitely is not a filler episode. This is a, finding out about Naraku episode, finding out what to do, what Inuyasha's going to do, what he should do. There's a whole conversation with Inuyasha and Moroku, how Inuyasha, he's a fighter and Moroku's a thinker. and how they need to strategize a plan, all that kind of stuff. That's why you kind of need someone like Moroku in the mix, get you to sit and actually think. That's really it. I like this episode. I love the animation. I like that Kagome is, worried about Inuyasha. She's kind of sorting through her feelings, I think, for him. Because he did embrace her in a, I don't know if romantic's the word, but I guess loving sort of is the word for it. Like, it's not like, it was something else. But then he did take the jewel shard. So, I think I said this last week. I'm like, that hug, I don't know if that hug meant something to him. I don't, it's never, he never addresses it. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have hugged her like that. Or, no, like, he never, I guess he just, I think he was just trying to get the jewel shard, to be honest. Even though he cares, I don't think he sees her in that way just yet. I think. Maybe. I don't know. Because it was kind of confusing. Even as an outsider watching the show, I'm like, Inuyasha hugged Kagome to take the jewel shard. It seemed like his motive was both, but I don't think he hugged her as in a romantic way. At least I don't think that was his intention. I don't know. Even I'm not sure. And we know that Inuyasha pushed her down so because he doesn't want to see another woman die. Even though he didn't. Did he see Kikyo die though? So that technically doesn't count. He actually did not see Kikyo die. He fell into a slumber first, and then she died and I know this because back in episode 3 or 4, or episode 2, I think, he finds out that Kikyo died and is surprised by it. He thinks Kagome was Kikyo for a second, and then he's surprised to find out that she died. So he didn't actually see Kikyo die. What he meant to say was, I don't want another woman to die. I'm just being, a jerk. Summarizing that for her. But, that's kind of it. This episode ends on a cliffhanger, just like the last one. The last, 3 episodes have ended on these kind of cliffhangers. So you gotta keep watching. Because normally Inuyasha has episodes that sort of just end, and then the next episode might be the beginning of another story or something like that. But these all have ended on cliffhangers. So until the next one, I guess, guys. And of course, I always have the video for the episode below, so you guys can watch that first. See you later.